And so you kind of have to change your behaviour slightly.
Kiddle, and I'm the founder and owner of NOWCA, which is the National Open Water Coaching Association, and we do education for open water swimmers with coaching courses that we've written and deliver, and also we've got a tracking system for swimmers around the country. We've got 45 venues using our system for safety, and we're just launching today a product called NOWCA Wild, which is an app that individuals who are swimming on their own can use as an extra layer of safety for them. And then it will link to our other operation, which is NOWCA, which is managed venues. So if you're a NOWCA member, it's £15 a year, and you can swim at all our venues that use our system, which we've got 35,000 members. And then NOWCA Wild will automatically be a sort of a benefit for those members, but we're also trying to attract the swimmers that go on their own, or maybe with groups of people but aren't managed, and we're offering a way for them to pin their swim, to inform a person where they are, when they're getting in and when they've got out, and also all our members are insured for personal accident insurance.
How would I get into this?
Well, there's things to consider, like where you're swimming, what type of water is it? So it could be moving water, still water, the sea. What's the water temperature? What's the weather conditions? So we offer education on that side. So with the NOWCA Wild app, depending on where you notify us where you're going, we can then pop up education if you need more help in terms of understanding tides, understanding how to get into cold water properly, get acclimatized. There's a hell of a lot of information out there that's available, but it's actually understanding what's actually correct and what some people are saying isn't actually safe for everyone. So we understand, obviously, there's loads of people who would just get in any water and they'd be 100% safe. And we understand there's also people that aren't interested in insurance. Fine, but what we're looking at is helping open water, so creating more safety for all types of water, and offering that little bit of extra advice and peace of mind, not just for the swimmer but for their family and friends who might be really interested to know where they are and how long they've been in the water for, and how to find them if there was an emergency. We've already got a system that works for managed venues, and we've got a booking app called Actio, ACTIO, Latin for activity. It's where people can actually see where to go to swim for managed venues and how to book. And the new app, NOWCA Wild, will be out in a couple of weeks, and that will allow the swimmers to then manage what else they're doing and just make it as safe as possible.
I assume you're a swimmer yourself.
A kind of old dinosaur swimmer. Used to be a professional triathlete, got into coaching, saw by running coach sessions in lakes how there was a market for people who really needed help to get over the confidence from feeling like they're a strong pool swimmer. Totally different getting into open water. So because I've been doing it so long and because I've been coaching so long, I was able to write the qualification, which we did 10 years ago, and we launched it with one of the swimming governing bodies who we partner with. So now we're coaching coaches to help swimmers getting in for the first time. If they're feeling a little bit lack of confidence or daunted or panicky, then we give them back the confidence to be able to do it. So it's almost like our goal is to turn a pool swimmer or a non-swimmer into a wild swimmer, where they're confident enough to go in any water on their own, or to risk assess it and decide that water's not safe. How do I know that's safe to go in? So there comes a level with water. There's a risk, and it's understanding the risks and being able to mitigate those risks so that you're safe as possible. And that's what we're after doing. And we're also looking to help water owners to open their water to swimmers safely, and that's something that we're really pushing for with a lot of different stakeholders in land and those bodies that own water, some of the reservoirs, those kind of people. Historically, they've never wanted swimmers in their water. They're starting gradually, one by one, to do U-turns, and that helps prevent accidents, because people then have access to education, which is what we're offering, and train people to understand what type of swimmer needs what education, and then we train lifeguards. So we work with the RNLI and the RLSS. The RLSS, which is the Royal Life Saving Society, so they're more for inland, and then the RLNI, they're the safety on the coastal water. So we work with both of those, and we're really able to kind of endorse their message, but then vice versa, because we are experts in open water swimming. So we've created educations on all types of things. In the last couple of years, winter swimming has really taken off, and it's from people that have mental health issues or have health issues really find a massive benefit from able to continue swimming through the winter and have cold water immersion. So we're experts in how to deliver that information to new swimmers who are looking to try it but do it safely.
Is that the fight or flight response then? So is that more, you're talking about swimming in cold, is that because they've got so enthusiastic and they want to swim all year round, or is it because of the benefits of like cryotherapy and things like that? You're hitting on a lot of things that there's a lot of in-depth information that links into what we're doing, but the general person who wants to swim in the winter is either a person who gets a huge benefit from immersing in cold water. They're not actually interested in swimming distance or anything like that. There are lots of challenges available to swimmers to get in and stay in for longer and longer, which is kind of, we're trying to shy away from that a little bit, because the message isn't about how long you're in the water for, because almost the first second you get in, you're starting to benefit. The key thing is knowing how long to stay in safely and then when to get out. And then for hours later you're feeling those sort of euphoric well-being. The endorphins. Is that the right?
One of the endorphins, yeah. But the key thing is to make sure that it's safe, and that that someone has the benefits, but they don't endanger themselves or others, and that's some of the risks. And it's easy to mitigate as long as we give the right education.
For somebody like me, like my use case, for example, most Saturdays, maybe I miss one Saturday per month, but I'm out there doing a hike between 10 and 12 miles, sometimes 18, 20 miles. But if I want to try just immersion, so I'm out on a hike, I get quite warm, how do I mitigate those risks? What are some maybe top tips that you can give like a layperson like me?
Well, almost go into slow motion mode when you get in the water. So obviously you need to know what the weather's doing. So if you're hot and you're hiking,
and then the weather changes and it gets worse, then you could be putting yourself at risk, to then try and hike back when when you're cold. And when you get in the water, your body temperature starts to drop, but it doesn't stop once you get out the water. It continues to drop. So it's really important to be able to gauge when to get out. But things like what I said about getting into slow motion is really just doing everything slowly, so that you don't overexert yourself. Because when your heart rate, most problems occur when someone panics in the water, and if you suddenly get cold, you tend to thrash around and try and warm yourself up. But that's actually the opposite of what you need to do. And you may have seen on TV the RNLI message, which is float. So you stop moving around and lean back and lay in the water and float. Not only is that great for getting acclimatized and bringing the heart rate down, but also controlling the breathing. It makes you have a lot more control about what you're doing, and then obviously is then understanding when you've been in there too long, and not doing too much too soon. And obviously you're adding a risk because you're hot and sweaty from hiking, but you need to then be able to get out of the water and get dressed quickly and then get moving and create the warmth from the movement, but not overexerting yourself too quickly too soon. One of the big things that people do is they try and go into a hot bath or something when they get too cold. That's completely the opposite of what they need to do, so they can overheat themselves and cause major problems. So it's having a warm drink, not a hot drink, those kind of things. And and I can see potentially if you're in the middle of a hike, you might have drunk all your drink and you've got nothing left, and then you might get out after being in there too long, and you could then be struggling. And if you're on your own, and that's why the NOWCA Wild app might be really useful, but you can actually notify somebody where you are, what you're doing, and then they will get notified when you finish the swim, so they know you're safe, and they know exactly where you are as well.
Yeah. I'm going to download it when it's available, so I'm looking forward to it coming out.
If you download our app called Actio, that'll give you the first information on where all our managed venues are, but that'll then put you on a list, and you'll get notified when the new app's live and running.
Yeah, I've got a good friend who's tried this in, I think like a wetsuit. That's it, wetsuit. Yeah, I was thinking, is it dry suit, wetsuit? Yeah, I would thinking like what you use for surfing. But she's tried it and she loved it. Would you ease yourself into it with something like that, or is it just what would you wear? What would you wear?
I think it'd be probably wouldn't be too much comfort hiking along with the wetsuit in the backpacks, but
a bit like Superman with the suit underneath.
But certainly, wetsuits are there to keep you warm. They're wet suits, so you have a layer of a film of water that heats up against your skin, and then that creates a warmth. But people still get hypothermic in a wetsuit. So absolutely, if there's a wind chill and you're wet and you come out, you can get cold very, very quickly. So, all those kind of things. It's useful to know, how to deal with that, and that's why. There's a product called Dry Robe out there, which is one of these kind of long waterproof coats where you can get changed under when you finish, so it keeps you warmer much quicker, and it lets your body heat do the job that it's meant to. And but again, hiking in one of those I wouldn't say is necessarily easy to do, but it's a good piece of kit. So yeah, I mean, the message is, I would say if you're thinking about wearing a wetsuit, go to a managed venue and hire a wetsuit and see how it feels, because a lot of people in the sport hate wetsuits, and they don't feel comfortable wearing them. So then there's another element there where they need to build up a consistent cold water swim training to get acclimatizing, yeah, because that will then help them when their body's adapting to getting used to the cold and then being able to function. So one of the other products that we do that we've created is our Venue Managers app. So people that want to manage groups of swimmers where the numbers are almost uncontrollable. So you need to know who's in the water, how long they've been in there for, and when they get out.
and our system is free for any operator who wants to use it. And then all your swimmers will sign up and create their profile, and then when they turn up, you issue them a wristband for their first ever swim, but they keep that wristband for the life of their swims. And when they turn up again, they scan their wristband with you running the app on your device, and their profile pops up, and you can put them into activities. And that's something that we run in 45 venues around the UK, and it's a real good way for a new operator or a new business who wants to create either a revenue stream for themselves, if they've got a lot of people and they need to keep them safe, but also earn money from it and bring in the revenue stream.
What have been the trends of the business, and did it kind of go up in terms of revenue or interest during the C word, which we don't want to mention because it's been 2 years, we're sick of hearing about it?
So it's quite an interesting history of how we've developed. But initially, when I started coaching, I was a triathlon coach, and we ran a venue so that we could all train there. And the numbers were so high, we felt it was unsafe to operate because we couldn't identify people in the water. So that's why we created the coaching education and also the tracking system on the app. But over I would say that probably the last 10 years, the demographic of who's swimming has changed from predominantly triathletes to actually more open water swimmers than triathletes, who both swim in open water, but the boom of new open water swimmers is growing and growing. And a couple of years ago when we struggled with COVID, once the lockdown was removed, the first sport to be able to operate was open water swimming, which is where the whole market went crazy because people couldn't go and swim in their swimming pool. So those people that loved swimming but couldn't get their water fix were trying open water swimming for the first time, and we were in the perfect position to help those people because we already had all the processes and education in place, and we could manage them safely and educate them safely and help them go from pool swimmers to open water swimmers and make it safe. And I would say that's still happening. So now that the lockdown's gone, people are back in the swimming pools, we've kept those swimmers and we're growing still. There's still the stats, we're very good on stats because we create data on all our swims. So we know that those people are still swimming, they're swimming more often in open water, and there's new people coming into the sport all the time. We've got 45, we're still growing exponentially, so if there's not one near you, then either contact us and let us contact them, or there'll probably be once you're on the system, any new venue that comes on board will pop up, and you'll see where you can be a NOWCA swimmer.
Plantlife. We're a small conservation charity based in Salisbury. We were formed just over 30 years ago with the aim of protecting and restoring our vanishing plant life, hopefully to save some of the wildlife that's unfortunately losing their homes and their habitats. So our first president was David Bellamy, who most people will probably remember. He was quite a character. Unfortunately, we lost him last year. But his work goes on, and our patron Prince Charles is very much involved as well. He gives us lots of ideas as well as donations, very generous with his input. One of his big projects was the Coronation Meadows project, who you may have heard of. It's been on Countryfile, I believe. And basically Prince Charles said, well, you've got to act fast before we lose all of our meadows. And we took the seed from what we had left of our ancient meadows, went to people like the MOD, the National Trust, large landowners, and managed to make over 90 new meadows. Having done so, we're now trying to fill in the gaps so that we have a huge network of meadows across the whole of the UK. And that forms a wildlife corridor. Also, we work with councils. I don't know if you can see. We published some guidelines that the councils can all access. They can download them and work within these guidelines, again, to form a wildlife corridor across the roadside verges. There's something like 350,000 miles of road in the country that can be managed so as to save the councils money by mowing less often, but also to the advantage of the environment, the climate and the wildlife by forming that wildlife corridor. Each year that they manage the verges like this, it will get better and better, because these are perennial flowers that will come back every year. But we don't just work with flowers, we help to restore the forest floor, fungi, mosses, lichens, and also places like the cairngorms where there's really important Atlantic rainforest in this country. And one of our other big projects at the moment is sand dunes. It's called Dynamic Dunescapes, and we're aiming to get the sand dunes shifting and moving again. Unfortunately, they've become static, smothered by tough grasses, and it means that we're losing rare orchids, lizards and butterflies. But we teamed up with the National Trust and the Wildlife Trust to get those sands shifting and moving again. So our scope is enormous. We work all over the UK. We do work globally as well. We have teamed up with some conservation charities abroad, places like the Himalayas and Europe.
Have you been doing shows like this during? I'm not going to say the C word because we don't want to think about that anymore, do we? But what have you? How has this affected what you've been doing over the last couple of years? And are you now back in the swing of it? How many shows are you doing this year, for example?
Yes, we're back in almost full swing this year, I believe. I've got quite a few lined up in the summer. This is my first one of this year. But yes, we were hit quite hard, especially the first year with all the lockdowns. So obviously, shows being cancelled, we booked them and then they were just cancelled at quite short notice, some of them. So we haven't actually failed to hit our target, luckily. We have got quite a few new members even during lockdown, but we possibly could have done even better, got our name more widely known had we been at more shows like this over the last couple of years. But we're back and going forwards, looking forward to the
onwards and upwards. When's your next show then? What's your calendar looking like for the next few months?
Well, we all work on different shows. So my personal one, I'm based in Dorset, down in the south. So my next one is going to be a heavy horse show in Ringwood in Dorset. But then we've got the RHS Malvern Spring Show. We've got RHS Hampton Court coming up in the summer. Those are the big ones that are just coming to mind. I do lots of the little, and the bigger actually, county shows like the Devon County Show, Dorset County Show, that sort of thing. And even one-day events. I've got something in Sherborne Castle lined up. So it's very varied.
Fantastic, so you're really busy. I'll let you get back to it then. So are you here tomorrow as well?
Yes we are.
Fantastic, I might see you tomorrow as well. And have you got a card or anything where I can contact you or spread the word? Or any in fact, do you want to just say it to camera?
Yes, if everybody would like to Google Plantlife, just put in the word Plantlife and you'll find plantlife.org and lots of information on our website.
That's fantastic, that's fantastic. Thanks a lot then, see you later.
So my name's Peter Antoniou, I'm head of SWAROVSKI OPTIK here in the UK. We're an Austrian brand producing premium optics, so that's binoculars and telescopes. And we've been producing optics for the last 75 years. So coming to this event, some people will know us because they've bought our product, but really for us it's about communicating our brand to a new audience, an outdoor audience.
Yeah, very good. So how many events are you doing this year, do you know?
So at the moment we've probably got about half a dozen sort of big events like this, and then we do quite a lot of satellite events as well, where we're a little bit smaller in terms of the audience, but a more niche audience. So we sell a lot of our brand to bird watchers. So we'll go to a nature reserve, for example, and we're set up there, have all the products so they can test and review and make a decision on what product they would want to buy. So yeah, quite a few events during the course of the year.
Fantastic. So the last 2 years, what's been the alternative to the events? Because obviously, it's not been really possible, has it?
No. It has been challenging, but thankfully when we could, we did those smaller events. But we've also been very fortunate with our brand that people have been buying into it. I think there's been a real push for people to enjoy being outdoors and observing nature. So for our brand in these 2 years, we've actually done very, very well. It's been a good 2 years, to be honest.
I actually just started hiking last March, so I've been doing it about a year now. So and I'm obviously into camera equipment, technology and things like that. And I'm just getting into it tends to be like you dip your toe in the water, don't you, and then it opens like a world of possibilities, doesn't it, really? So what would you say for somebody who's kind of struggling maybe with getting outside, mental health, anything like that? Or it's just a good thing, isn't it?
100%, yeah. I think just being outdoors, listening to bird song, perhaps in the past you haven't really taken that all in. And I think for us, it's about promoting the fact that you should be outdoors, you should experience it and enjoy it, and maybe having an OPTIK will enhance that enjoyment. Because sometimes when you're walking, you're missing things. And I think with an OPTIK, you could see a bird up in the sky, you can then have the OPTIK look, observe, and try and identify that bird, and then enjoy that observation. So it's about really getting out there, I think, and that's what we're all here for, to promote being outdoors and enjoying the outdoors.
Yeah, I think I did a course called Mindfulness, and it's where you're just taking the time to really consider, sights and sounds and things like that. And I play guitar. I've played guitar since I was about 18, and it's been very therapeutic. And now hiking, that's given me that same therapy where it's that stillness, isn't it, where you're just there with nature and you're just getting out. And especially with my job, very digital, very in front of a screen answering emails. I call it a digital detox, so it's really important, isn't it? So if I've got kind of lenses for the Canon cameras and all that kind of thing, but I don't own any of this kind of equipment. So if I wanted to start on that journey, what would be like a starting point for me, would you say? What would you recommend?
Well, it depends really what you want. With the binocular range, we have smaller, compact, lighter binoculars. So if you're hiking and you don't want to carry too much weight, then a pocket would tick the box 100%. The quality is still there, 100%. So that's a good starting point. But if you're really getting into observing wildlife, then you might go up the range that we have to a slightly more conventional size of binocular, where the magnification could be a little bit higher so you can get closer. And also, because of the design, you have a larger tube which allows more light into the binocular. So if you're out early in the morning or later in the evening at dusk, you can still use your optics and still observe wildlife with a larger binocular. Yeah. So binoculars is a good starting point. Yeah. If you really get into observing wildlife and birding, then we've got telescopes. So with a telescope, you have a higher magnification, and that's the reason why it needs to be on a tripod. With a binocular, you can handhold an 8 or a 10 times magnification. Yeah. But here you've got a 35 times magnification. Yeah. Yeah. So you're going to see things at a greater distance, but because of that high magnification, you have to stabilize the image, and that's when you need a tripod. So a birder, a typical bird watcher, will have a binocular to scan, to find the bird, and then with a telescope you can really get in close identify the bird, observe the bird.
Yeah.
So for a lot of birds, it's a combination of the two, binocular and telescope. But for someone who's just enjoying being outdoors, a binocular is absolutely fine, and you're going to really enjoy that.
I'm not sure if this is a silly question, but I'm just thinking about my knowledge of like camera lenses, and I completely understand what you're saying about if something as kind of say a 300 mil or 700 mil or something like that, you've got to stabilise it. So in the camera world, we've kind of got image stabilisation, whether it's what we call in-body image stabilisation like IBIS, or like not as good like the digital. Is there anything like that in this realm?
There is. We don't have an image stabiliser binocular, but there are companies that do produce an image stabilising binocular. So Canon, for example, I don't want to promote Canon necessarily, but Canon do actually. So their technology on lenses has been adapted for binoculars. So when you press a button on the binocular, it just stabilises that image for you. So that works on a high magnification, works quite well. The only drawback is that the ergonomics in terms of the design of the optics, because they have to put that electronic housing, makes it a little bit more bulky. But the concept works. It's a good concept, and it does help people that struggle to hold an optic for long periods of time.
Yeah. I mean, I follow a YouTuber. I'm not if you've heard of him, an Irish gentleman called Hugh Sweeney. And he's a videographer as well. I do digital marketing training, videography, web. I like a mixed bag really across digital marketing. And I noticed that on his YouTube channel, he's doing a lot of birding, and he's really getting into it. I don't know the lenses he's got, but I think he's got like a 150 to 600 Sigma lens, and a few others as well. Big lenses like that kind of size. I'm just wondering, because I think my longest lens is about 135 on a full frame. So it's something I'd like to get into. I'd really like to get into.
What you can do with our telescopes is to attach cameras or an iPhone. So we have an iPhone attachment that goes onto the front of the eyepiece. So when you've got your iPhone there, you can obviously take pictures through the telescope, or you can take video through the telescope, or you can use the screen as a viewing aid when you're showing someone else what you've seen or seeing through the telescope. So actually, it's not a lens necessarily designed for taking pictures. It's an observation tool, but it can work in the same way as your camera lens if you connect it to a camera or to your iPhone.
That's fantastic. So just birding in general, how do I get started with kind of learning all the different birds and just getting into it? I know it's a big, massive topic, isn't it, really?
Yeah, that takes time. There are lots of apps now you can buy that will guide you, but we've actually got a product that you can look through. You take a picture that sends the image to an app that we have, and it will identify the bird for you. So it's called a DigiGuide binocular.
DigiGuide.
So with the right app, the SWAROVSKI app, you press the button, the image will be fed back to the app on your phone, and then it will give you the image of the bird that you've spotted. So that's one way of learning. But
what's the app called, sorry?
It's a DG app. It's the SWAROVSKI OPTIK DG app. So if you go onto our website, SWAROVSKI OPTIK website, the digital guide will be on there, and there'll be an explanation around how that works and what app you need to download. So we've developed this to help people who are starting out birding, or if they're going out for a walk and they just want to identify a bird they've just seen. That connection of the product and the app will be able to identify that for you.
Yeah, thank you very much then. So that's brilliant.
Thank you. Nice talking to you.
You too, thank you.
So we manufacture lights for road cycling, mountain biking, and outdoor pursuit sort of head torches for a range of different people, whether they're in marine, skiing, any kind of outdoor pursuits. We manufacture them in the UK, down in West Sussex, and they are very durable. They have a range of outputs from 1,000 lumens down to 200 lumens, and they produce enough light up to 1,000 lumens from our head torches over here. And then our bike lights that we've got over here, they can be used for people doing downhill enduro riding, also cross-country mountain biking, as well as road cycling. Different technologies in them mean that people can use the light for their sort of specific needs, to be seen or to see. So our biggest flagship light is the 6-pack, and that produces 5,000 lumens. And yeah, has a range of technologies to help sort of maintain that steady light.
So obviously, I'm not going to mention the C word over the last 2 years because we want to forget about that, don't we? But have you been doing many of these shows? Are you doing a lot this year?
This is our first outdoor show that we've done this year. Well, this side of COVID, really. We have had a few marine shows through our other sort of subsidiary brand, and then we have started going to more of the retailer bike shows as well. But this is the first outdoors expo that we've been able to sort of come to this side of COVID, really.
I'm just trying to understand the technology as well, because I'm more like an hiker, but you know, if I've got an audience, any bikers, anything like that, and we're talking about mountain bikes, aren't we, with this?
Off-road mountain bike, and also road cycling as well. So we have like automatic dipping beams for the road cycling. So for cars coming towards you, it allows the light to dip, so you don't dazzle the drivers coming towards you through our active technology. And then we have our reflex technology for our mountain bikers. So it helps to boost the amount of light you need for that type of terrain you're riding. And then it dims the light if you're climbing up a hill where you don't need so much light. But then as soon as you're going downhill through the woods and stuff, it gives you the light you need.
That's amazing. I think my mate had a car, BMW, where you were kind of going round a corner.
Yeah, we haven't quite ventured into the cornering lights yet. We are looking to improve the technology so that we can manipulate the light into certain areas, but the flood of beam from our lights is so great that at the moment you have enough field of view. Also for mountain biking, we use the head torches up on the top shelf behind me, and that allows you to, as you're looking around a corner, allows you to see the light that's in your vision, whereas the light on the bars allows to see what's in front of you. So it gives you that perfect range of light, really.
That sounds amazing. So for me as an hiker just wanting like an head torch, could I use one of these?
Yeah, of course. The kind of lights that we've got over here, the straps go onto any size head. They use a little silicone band that's got a reflective strip in it. So great for people who are running on the roads, but also people for mountaineering. They can add in support cells, so if you were climbing Everest, you could add in a support cell, so you've got that extended battery life for that particular event or challenge that you're doing. But if you were just using it day to day, we have some more versatile, compact lights that work for other uses.
So specifically for me then, because I am actually really interested in this, I'm not a biker, I've got a mountain bike, but I've got a Scott mountain bike. I don't know if that means anything to you, but it's too big for me. It's a 21-inch frame, I think, and I think I need something like a 19 or something, because I'm only, but yeah, that's it. And but yeah, for hiking, which specific model would I buy then?
What kind of hiking are you doing? Is it fairly technical sort of hiking, and how long would you be going out for?
Well, at the moment it's like 10 or 12 miles, couple of peaks.
And towards the end of it, it would be during the darkness or all in the darkness?
Not at the moment, but it tends to be that we're only doing about. I think say if I did something like the National Free Peaks and I'm hiking throughout the night, that's the kind of thing. Or if I do stay out a bit too long and kind of lose my bearings. You know. So
something like our HT1000 would be enough light, more than enough light, to see the way over a technical terrain like the Three Peaks. You can also then change the modes using our optimized mode selector, which allows you to control the amount of light that you wish to have to preserve the battery over a period of time. So if you thought you were only going to be going out for an hour's hike, then you can have it running the maximum output to last for an hour, 3 hours. But if you were doing a 24-hour challenge, you would then change the program to suit your needs. Yeah, dial it down. Exactly that.
So, this red light, this looks interesting. Can you tell me a bit about this?
So this is the Raw Pro. It's useful for search and rescue people. It has a red light and it also has a white light. The red allows you to preserve your night vision. So white light tends to deteriorate your vision at night time. So there are a lot of people on sailboats and search and rescue where they like to just use the red light to help maintain a steady sort of ambient light around them so that they're not getting distracted by other things. So when you first turn the light on, it's red, and that's the sort of necessity that people prefer when it comes on, and then you can select a white light with using the button controls.
Wow. So obviously a lot of thought's gone into that technology, hasn't it? So yeah, to not blind somebody
And it's fully integrated, so the battery is fully built in and it is fully waterproof. The Raw Pro with the red light has IPX8 and the rest of the head torches have a waterproof rating of IPX5. This is our Blaze rear light, and then we have a Trace R. So these are useful for people on road cycling, commuting, or even mountain biking. And it's just a really great feature to be seen by traffic. Prevents cars coming up behind you, getting too close to you. They're able to see you from a greater distance away and give you enough room to come around you. They've got a range of features like the flashing one here or a steady light here. And then we also give these selective descriptions which allow users to understand what kind of purpose the lights are for, whether they're going all mountain biking or they're just using it for the urban sort of use. So yeah.
Fantastic. That's
no
good
worries.
Stuff. I'll give you a rest.
Cheers.
I'm Dom. I work for Salomon in our marketing department in the UK. I've been with Salomon for about 13 years now. So I've experienced a lot of the products and seen them come through. So you found the right guy to speak to.
Fantastic. I love it. I've got the GTX Ultra Freeze, so the one before the 4 actually, the mid. I've got them in a wide, so I'm just wondering what the next one up is, because I don't know if that's available anymore, if it's discontinued or if I can still get hold of it. But I like it because it's lightweight. When I did the Yorkshire Free Peaks last year, I was struggling because I had some really heavy boots on. I won't mention the brand, but they weren't Salomon anyway. So I found Salomon. They were recommended to me from somebody on YouTube, and I bought some. So I got the GTX Mid Freeze, and then Vicky, I can't remember what I did get some others that I've not worn yet, which were a bit higher up than the GTX Freeze. And you might be able to tell me what they are.
Possibly. I mean, it may have been the Quest, but talking about the X Ultras, we're now on to the 4th iteration. So it's now the X Ultra 4. Grab one actually to show you. Sorry. Come back. So we've made a few little updates to the design. It's still a lightweight, fast hiking boot or shoe. Still comes in the shoe and a mid version. Gore-Tex and a non-Gore-Tex is available as well. Some of the updates we made, we've completely reconstructed the chassis, which is kind of the piece of plastic we put in the shoe to help stabilize the shoe. This now kind of wraps around the bottom of the shoe and comes up the side a little bit more to offer a little bit more medial support, so you're less likely to roll your ankle. And this works in conjunction with our active support strap as well. Again, just coming over the side of the foot just to help kind of hold the foot in position so it's nice and secure. The upper is a lot cleaner as well, so there's a lot of stitching going through it, so less points of failure or to fail, and a lot easier to clean as well. Same sole unit, so still the same great grip. It's still very, very popular, still doing very well for us.
Fantastic. What if I wanted one with a bit of higher rise on, like the ankles, a bit higher? Does this provide enough support then, because it's quite low? Or?
It depends kind of what you're looking to do. If you're on really uneven terrain, you may want a slightly more supportive or more height in the shoe. Like I mentioned, this does come in a mid version, so an ankle height, which does offer that little bit more height. Essentially the same shoe, just with that little extra support, and it has a traditional lace rather than our patented quick lace that we use. So still a few more options there in tying it up. Then if you kind of want to go even more support, we'll be looking at full height boots, which will be our Quest 4D boot. real nice lightweight, fast backpacking hiking boot. It's going to get you up most of the mountains of the UK, no problem. Really popular with people who are wanting to do things like Kilimanjaro. It's a kind of go-to boot. Really popular with the military as well. They seem to really like it. It's kind of lightweight and the ability to move quickly, especially when they've got heavy packs in the back and they're having to do long stints. Some of the technologies, again, very similar to the X Ultra we just covered. So again, featuring our advanced chassis through here, but a much more substantial version of that. So this one actually wraps all the way around the back of the boot, goes through the midsole, so you get a load of stability and protection in the back rear of the shoe. Then as it comes through the boot, it kind of forks into two prongs here, so you're still getting really good lateral stability, but it's allowing that forefoot flex, so much more like a trainer, so it feels super comfortable on longer days and longer hikes. Again, full Gore-Tex bootie in there, so you can get all that weather protection. You have the active support strap, again, similar to the X Ultra. It's traditional lace, loads of height, and then kind of one of the really kind of good selling features of this boot is this locking lace eyelet on the side here. You may have noticed it, you may not. It's nice and subtle. But basically your lace goes in there, and as you pull it through, it locks down, so you're able to tie off the tension between the top and the bottom of the boot. So you can really dial in the fit and have it loose on top, tight on bottom, or vice versa. So it's a really nice little feature that.
I've been told that the best way to lace the boots is we go around the top and then this bit, don't we, so we don't snap this bit. Is that best practice? Or?
I think it's down to personal preference at the end of the day. I think doing it that way will kind of just help lock in the top of the boot a lot more. But what we find, because we have this locking eyelet on the side anyway, it just secures that tension, so you don't have to worry so much about that section. But I don't think there's any right or wrong way to do it, so it's just down to your personal preference at the end of the day.
So from personal experience, I've not worn these on a night yet. I'm still on the Ultra, the GTX3 mids, so I bought them and just had them for like 4 months and not worn them yet. I will say that they really seem to grip you and hug you and feel very supportive, so that's why I bought them. They just felt so light. I don't know how you've got them so light, it's like magic.
I don't know myself either. It's just something they do really well at our head office in France, in the HQ, where they're designed and developed, obviously. In terms of that fit you mentioned, it's something Salomon's really proud of as well. Obviously we have a really strong heritage in ski boots. That's kind of where our boot fitting knowledge came from. We've carried that knowledge over into our footwear through the years, bringing various technologies such as SensiFit, which we use in a lot of our trail running product, and kind of using elements of it in the hiking product as well. So it's just getting that completely enveloped fit of the foot, and that just results in all-day comfort and just a lot less niggles and issues further down the line.
Well, if you, I've only got 100 subscribers, but I'm Michael Greenwood. You'll probably see me. I've done a few hiking videos. And I'll be wearing the Salomons. I think I'm wearing them in all of them anyway, because they're the only ones that I wear these days, so I'm a bit of a fanboy, so I thought I'd come and interview you, so thanks for this. Just one other question then. Did you mention that some of your boots, the other pair of boots, the low ones, you can get them in, what did you say about the waterproofing? The Gore-Tex or non-Gore-Tex? Why would you get non-Gore-Tex?
Perhaps if you're going to a hotter country, hotter climes, where your foot is more likely to get hotter and
breathability,
more breathable, and if you don't need the weather protection from the wet, if there's no puddles, you don't need a waterproof shoe.
I think we'll continue to get the Gore-Tex though in this country. I just hike in the Peak District at the moment.
So my name's Tim Hall. The company is Healthy Step, and we can be found at healthystep.co.uk. We're primarily a medical supplier in the NHS market, so we've been in since 2001. So we produce orthotics insoles for that market, but a lot of the time, a lot of the problems that come into the medical market are basic discomfort of the foot, small amounts of foot pain. So we produce a range of insoles and orthotics that address those pains such as heel pain, fatigue, fallen arches, these traditional problems. And putting a decent insole and orthotic into a shoe can help massively with supporting the foot and just giving that level of comfort, particularly as you do the longer walks and more fatigue starts to creep in. Then we also produced a range of compression socks. So again, it's about giving foot comfort through better foot function. And these are our foot pump socks. So the foot basically has a lot of blood going through it, and we're all very familiar with the calf being compressed to get the blood back up to the heart. So in this case, we're compressing the foot as well to help. We've freed out the big toe here because there's a lot of blood flow between the toes. So as you walk, there's almost a squeegeing effect of pushing the blood through the foot, and the compression helps to bring that back to the calf muscle. And again, it's about comfort through good foot function and good vascular flow. So we take all the knowledge we've got through our medical market and pushed it into the outdoor market, particularly hiking and running.
Fantastic. So in terms of your target market, you've got your hikers, your runners, anybody else?
Hikers, walkers, anyone that's on their feet. Also, if you're standing around a lot all day, so we've had a lot of nurses on the stand today that do a lot of standing around by the patient's beds, but then actually go into quite a significant amount of walking during the day as well. We've had a pub landlord that's bought some more insoles off us because he's stood still a lot of the day. So what you want in that case is something with some more cushioning in the foot that's helping you with your natural fat pad in your foot and just giving you that comfort level.
Brilliant. So would you say it's more preventative or more once you've got the problem, or a bit of both?
It's a bit of both. We've got a lot of people that if you don't want injury generally comes, and discomfort tends to come from fatigue and poor function. So particularly if you're walking, you can actually, and running as well, if you get comfortable straight away and you've got good support for your feet are doing a lot of work, much more than any other organ in your body at that stage. So if you can support that and give it some help, then in the early stages you'll probably prevent injuries, but also it'll really let you help walk longer in more comfort. A lot of people suffer from traditional complaints, heel pain, plantar fasciitis, that's one of the big common ones, a bit of overpronation. A lot of the time it's not a serious medical problem, you can just get some advice, you can go online, we have a website with a lot of advice on it, which is healthystep.co.uk. Everyone's welcome to visit that and just read about it and look after your feet. You know, they're a small part of your body but doing an awful lot of work.
I'm Jewell, I'm from the Camping and Caravanning Club. So we're a membership organisation and we run campsites for our members. We've got nearly 100 club sites and just over 1,300 certificated sites. So we give members and campers some really amazing places to go camping.
How many of these shows have you done so far this year since, I don't like to say the C word, like lockdown and things like that? I know it's been difficult over the last few years.
Yeah, it has. So we started doing the shows last year. The outdoor shows went ahead, so we did some of those. And then this year we started with the Caravan Camping and Motorhome show here in February. That had over 100,000 visitors because we've seen such a big boom in everybody wanting to go camping and caravanning. And then we were here, but we're also at the Yorkshire Caravan and Motorhome show this weekend as well. So the show season has really kicked off and we're looking forward to getting back out there and speaking to all our members and campers.
I'm from Yorkshire, from South Yorkshire. So 100,000, that's phenomenal, isn't it? That were over multiple halls, the caravan and camping one. This one's a bit smaller, isn't it? So it's not quite as big, is it? But there's definitely been a big movement to, since been travel restrictions and things like that, haven't there? So have you noticed that the business has changed over the last couple of years, and is it starting to change now?
It has changed a lot, as in people are just more interested in camping and caravanning than they've ever been before. The whole staycation thing has really taken off, and even this year, obviously with people allowed to go abroad again now, but we're hoping, and it seems to be that people are wanting to still continue to spend some time in the UK as well. So yeah, hopefully we'll see us carry on the staycation boom for a little bit longer.
And what's kind of the mix between the different types of caravan or motorhome and static versus mobile and things like that?
I don't know generally across the whole industry. In terms of our own membership base, we see probably 40 to 50% of them are caravanners, Then we have a big segment of motorhome and camper vanners, and then around 20% of people in tents. But we do see a little bit of a journey in terms of people start off in a tent and then they might go into a caravan, and then as they get older tend to move into maybe a motorhome. The camper van is seeing a real boom this year, which has got a real cross-section of audience from young people that are new to it all the way through to older retired people. So that kind of bucks the trend a bit, but in the past it's always been that they've gone through that journey from tent camping through to motorhomes.
Do you go camping? Do you go caravanning? How do you take an holiday generally?
I've done a bit of everything. My job has allowed me to do that. I'm very lucky with that. But generally we spend most of our time in tents as a family. We have done a bit of caravanning and we have toured around in motorhomes, but yeah, at the moment I've got 2 youngish children and they just like being in a tent, so tents are our favourite.
Brilliant. Yeah, well, thank you for this interview, and I can see you've got a prize. You want to tell us a bit about this competition?
Yeah, this is a competition that we will run all year round. So this was launched in February and it will run till November. We've partnered up with Swift and Vango for people to be able to enter a competition to win the Swift Base Camp 6, the Vango awning, and obviously a year's membership with the Camping and Caravanning Club.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, and I'll hopefully see you at another show. When's your next show?
I think our next one is Peterborough Motorhome Show.
Brilliant. See you later then, thanks.
My name's Al, so I'm a paid membership fundraiser, so I work for the RSPB, and in short, we are giving nature a home. So we work in the UK with our reserves, but we also work with international partners to help wildlife. And obviously, because nature's in trouble, we'd love to have more folks on board to help us make positive changes for nature all over the globe.
So if somebody were just getting started with, getting out more, getting outdoors more, getting out in nature really, from maybe being cooped up in an office, or maybe they've been working at home and it's affecting the health and well-being and things like that. And I know there's a plethora of other reasons why you'd want to, get involved. What would be the starting point? What's a good start?
So basically, like I say, we've got over 180 nature reserves up and down the UK, very family friendly as well, particularly to get the younger ones into nature, so you don't have to go sort of gallivanting off anywhere. It's all very family friendly and quite accessible as well, so it's a good place just to go and have a quick short walk, have a little look through our little viewing platforms, or sometimes looking through our hides and things like that, just to see what you can see. And obviously there are larger, sort of longer routes as well for people to really immerse themselves in nature.
That's fantastic. So how many shows are you? Is this your first show this year, or how many shows have you done this year, and how many are you planning? For the rest of the year. What's your kind of calendar looking like?
Okay, well, so we come to the NEC quite often. Obviously, the outdoor show is fantastic for us, but I mean, recently we've done things like Crufts. Last year we did the photography show. Yeah, lots of different ones. Grand Designs, I think, was another one. And yeah, we'll definitely be back at the NEC. And we tend to do things like Birmingham Pride as well. Or, well, I would, because I'm working the West Midlands. But yeah, down in London and places like that. So yeah, it tends to be quite busy at shows for us, because again, we want to reach as many people as possible to let them know nature's fantastic, but also nature's in trouble, and you guys can help us, obviously, so there is hope.
If there's a few tips that you can give to people to do their bit in terms of, being more green, what would you recommend?
So basically, we've got our Nature Discovery Pack, which forms part of our family membership, an activity a week that everyone can do at home. Doesn't have to be all singing or dancing. It can be all bean tins filled full of little twigs and logs, insect hotels, that kind of thing. But yeah, just go online really, and we have got things like Nature on Your Doorstep. So that's a little email that you can sign up to, comes into your inbox. It's called Notes on Nature and things like that, and it just tells you guys what you can do on your own home soil, on your own home patch to help nature.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much.
That's great. Thank you, guys.
We started the company Be Your Happy Place about 2.5 years ago to do some vibrant, funky, fun leggings, and it's just evolved from there, from the leggings to hoodies and then all the other products.
Fantastic, fantastic. Where have you travelled from today?
Done by Caravanning, so West Wales.
How long did that take?
It was 3 hours, 3.5 hours, something like that.
Where were we last year? in South Wales. Where did we go? Pembrokeshire. Newmote. We went last year.
I haven't heard of that, but Pembrokeshire is nice. We go down there a lot to the beaches and just have some family time when we're not doing the business.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. About 20 minutes from Tenby. Tenby were beautiful. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. How long? When did you start the company then?
It's about 2.5 years. The wife started it because she took up running, suffered with mental health, and she found that there was only dark coloured leggings, nothing that was like spirit lifting or vibrant. And I kind of said to her, well, start a company to do it.
Nice colours. You can see that I'm wearing one of my favourite colours, a nice orange. So it's not quite as colourful as some of these, but you know, I don't like to wear black. It does make me feel drained.
If you look good, you feel good, and getting out and about as well is brilliant for that.
Yeah, just you know, doing your hair, just dressing in the way that you want to. It just makes you feel really good, doesn't it?
Yeah, because the motto is actually be you, do you, for you, and it's just all about you, really, and it's like.
I like that. Yeah. So that's your company motto, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Who's your ideal? Who do you tend to sell to most of the time? Who's your ideal target market?
I wouldn't say we have one. There's a lot of older generations that have them, and there's also the younger generations. It's hard to tell, but you do see some people order dark colours to start with, the darker patterns, and as time goes on you see them evolve into the vibrant, brightest patterns that we do over time. So it's quite good to see that they are growing in themselves, and like on the Facebook page they do more posting, and you can actually see people kind of grow and change and be more happy in themselves and stuff. So yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. So what's your Facebook page then?
the wife does that.
All right. Yeah.
They change it, so it's be your happy place at leisure.
Oh, that's brilliant. Let's just hold that up to the camera. Oh, can we take one of these as well?
Yeah.
Oh,
fine. Yeah, you can take that.
Well, thank you very much. I'll send you can I contact you in here? Yeah. I'll put this on YouTube then, on my channel. It's Michael Greenwood, and I'll send you a link if you want when it's up there.
Yeah, it's great.
Are you here tomorrow as well?
Yeah, we're here tomorrow.
So you're here both days. Are you doing any other events like this year?
We're doing the run show. We're doing Run Fest. We're doing the Orbit Festival that's just around the corner. We go into there as well. So yeah, we're doing a few this year.
Yeah, hopefully see you there then. Yeah. That's brilliant. Thanks a lot.
Cheers. Thanks.
My name's James. I work for a company called RIDGEGEAR. We are a height safety manufacturer based in Leek in Staffordshire. And we weave, we dye, and we actually make the products from the raw ingredients. So we will weave the webbing, we'll dye it to whatever colour the people want, and then we'll turn it into all of the products that you see here.
What would the advice be to somebody like me who's going hiking, enjoys outdoors, but hasn't really got into? I fancy giving it a try. What would be maybe the first step for me to give it a try?
So you can either go and buy the equipment and sort of have a go, or find a local instructor, whether that's at an indoor wall or somebody that will take you outdoors. Book onto a sort of taster session, and then go from there. That way, you haven't spent a lot of money, but you can then get a feel of actually, do I enjoy it? Plus, it keeps you nice and safe. You've got a trained, qualified instructor, and they can actually then give you a hand and show you how to do the activity yourself.
That sounds brilliant. How many sessions would I give it to kind of get a feel to it and decide if it's for me?
Within the first session, I think you'll figure out whether it's for you or not, and then depending on if you like it, you could then go and have a few more goes at things, progress, maybe do an actual qualification, and then you'd be set to then sort of maybe go out on your own and have a bash and enjoy the great outdoors.
What are the kind of questions that, like frequently asked questions that your customers would usually ask you?
It depends really. So we typically will be dealing with larger organisations, so supplying outdoor centres, climbing walls with equipment. So it's kind of like durability, sustainability as well. So we've just launched a harness an eco harness made out of plastic bottles, recycled plastic bottles. So it's a big green tick. And that's kind of what they're looking for, the sustainability, the durability, and a cost aspect really as well.
I'm massively into that. You'll notice I've got no plastic water bottle. I'm using reusable. I'm really into that, so I'm really passionate about sustainability.
So this is the eco harness. So this harness is made out of recycled plastic bottles. So on this particular harness, there's about 13 plastic bottles go into making it. It's about 90% recycled. The only parts that aren't is the metalwork. Okay, so we're doing our bit for the environment, taking out either sea waste or taking those bottles so they don't go into landfill. They get chipped up, they then get melted, pulled through a strainer, and then they get turned into the actual yarn. We then take that yarn, we weave it into the webbing. We then dye it and then turn it into the finished product that you see here. Yeah, so the other range that we do is our standard sort of climbing harnesses. So today we've got our adventure range. This is the summit range. Okay. Some of these harnesses can also be made in eco webbing. So we go on to the sort of Instructor rope access harness. That can be made in eco webbing as well. So depending on what the companies do, we can have an environmentally friendly version of that harness for them, which is quite nice. So we go fully from adventure harnesses, climbing harnesses, all the way through to industrial rope access harnesses. So there's a bit for everybody really.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much as well. Thank you.
My company is called Energian, and we are here to represent on two stands OPTIK. On this stand, they do very nice fridge freezers for camping and off-grid use, as well as we are a dealer for EcoFlow. They supply very advanced portable power stations, meaning battery and inverter units. The units can be used to power lights, anything with a main socket, lights, a fridge, a coffee machine. Even we've got a coffee machine there we're demonstrating, and we're seeing a lot of interest today. This product is very relevant for anyone, especially on an extended journey, anybody camping. They can be used with solar panels as well. Very versatile, can be used for someone with unreliable power supply in combination with solar panels. For professional use, very popular amongst videographers. Yeah, a multitude of users.
Videographers like me?
Like yourself, indeed, yes. Anyone shooting, filming on location. They're brilliant for that. Yeah?
That's fantastic. Yeah, so we've got a nice little camera here, which is a Canon R6, which is a mirrorless, quite recent mirrorless camera. I've got some big cameras as well though, and I'm thinking about, when we're going on location, some of the things that I'm trying to do to be more environmentally friendly and greener in terms of running a video production company, digital marketing company. And one of the things that I try to do is take the smaller camera, so the right tool for the job, if it's good enough, but then I'll take the bigger camera and the bigger lighting. Lighting is a big thing, so LED lights are more efficient. Would this solution help me then, as that videographer?
Right, it would in several ways. One, it makes things possible, so it allows you to film reliably in a location that is off-grid, right? Difficult to access. Now, the other way it will help you, particularly to stay more environmentally friendly, is even if you're not using solar panels, which is an option, you can top up your battery of mains power. And in this country, fortunately, mains power is already more than half renewable. Now, amongst videographers, our videographer customers, bigger models are more popular because they pack more punch, and as a professional user, you don't want to be left without power when you're doing a big shoot for your customer. Yeah, so anyone like that. And now we do have solar panels as well. We've got on show today some folding panels going up to 300 watt in capacity. They can be used literally anywhere. You can sort of be on a reasonably flat surface, okay? We can also supply for anyone doing anything like a van conversion. We can supply fixed panels that can be attached securely to the top of a van. Yeah, so we're finding our customers find new uses for this every day.
Yeah, that's fantastic. How many other shows are you doing then? Is this obviously? I'm not going to mention the C word. You know, we don't want to think about that because it's been 2 years and we're trying to, get on with things. But is this your first show after that, or have you been doing a few? Or
right. So we've done a few shows. We've done a show for carp fishing, as it happens. That customer base requires a portable unit that will power them. Typically a carp fishing trip is 24 hours plus and someone stays on site for that duration. So something like this would be a good solution, especially with a built-in flashlight. This is a very economical but punchy power bank that delivers a flashlight function. Here you can see, and something special about this is it supplies up to 24 volts output, so it can be used not just your plain vanilla smartphones, but also for advanced technology like laptops or a CPAP machine. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so we do serve a very wide user base from different walks of life and different interests. Yeah. Now, on this stand, we are showcasing today the technology from EcoFlow. These portable power stations incorporate an inverter of different capacities, so you can choose the right model and run pretty much any device up to an espresso machine. We've got an espresso machine, got a circular saw. You can use this for home backup. They do offer the fastest charging time on the market today in this category. 80% charge can be achieved in 1 hour from a mains outlet. Someone, perhaps on the way to their adventure, stopping in a coffee shop, can discreetly top up of a main socket, or at night they can be topped up with solar panels. We've got the EcoFlow solar panels there on display, as well as a car output port for 12 volts. Yeah, so it's very, very, very nice technology. You can lift it. Light, easy to hold in my hand here, and this is now powering this monitor and the laptop, and you can see the display here that shows the time remaining, the wattage. If this was charging, it would show the charging state. Yeah, very user friendly.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Okay, that's great. Thanks for your time.